Hello, welcome back to After Reality. That was a long countdown.
Yeah, it was cool. I was getting into the groove, the music.
I know. Welcome back to After Reality. I'm your host, Courtney Robertson, and I am here today with Chad Kultgen, the GOAT, Chad the man.
Okay. If you
There,
say so, I won't
I,
dispute that claim.
I got your book right here. Are,
Mmm.
are you drinking a Topo Chico? Topo
Topo
Chico?
Chico, tangerine and ginger extract. Yeah, it's my
Have
favorite
they
drink of all time.
sponsored you yet? That was my
No.
favorite when I was pregnant. My,
Oh,
sober drink
really?
was just, standard Topo Chico.
Oh, yeah, just the sparkling water. I like that too,
Mhm.
but this tangerine and ginger extract, I'm highly addicted to it.
Why aren't they sponsoring you? Come on,
I don't
Topo
know.
Chico.
I'm sponsoring them at this point.
Well, I have a lot to chat with you about today. So I have been watching Grant Ellis this season. Everybody
Yep.
keeps hitting me up. They want to know, what do I think of the Grant and the girls and
Mhm.
Zoe. Is it Zoe or Zoe?
I think it's Zoe.
Okay, she looks like a Zoe. I'm gonna go with that. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. I am not
Okay.
doing full recaps just yet because I don't have the screeners.
Mhm.
Lucky duck, you. But and then I'm gonna end this episode with a rapid fire. I've got some tricky fastball questions for you that I
Oh,
I just
all
want to
right.
know about you. But there's so much going on in the nation, like over the
Yeah.
holidays. Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell broke up. What else? Oh, the latest news, breaking news is that The Bachelorette is not coming back per deadline, is not coming back this summer. And I just wanted to get your hot takes on everything, Chad, because I know you're covering all this and you guys can go listen to Game
Yeah.
of Roses. Your videos are killing it on YouTube. I just go to you to kind of like hear the latest. So
Uh-huh.
thanks for
Yeah.
for joining.
Oh, my pleasure. I mean, in terms of the Bachelorette not being in quotes canceled, but it's not being ordered this year by ABC, which
Mhm.
means for those who don't know like how network TV works, the network will issue an order for however many episodes they want of whatever the show is. This is for scripted and reality TV shows. And in some cases, like it has been with The Bachelor, sometimes they would get renewed for like 3 seasons at a time. So they would basically get an order, like a 12 episode order for The Bachelor for the next 3 years. And they did that for all their shows for a long time. This past year, 2024, was the first one where we saw them take one of those shows out of the order, which was Bachelor in Paradise, obviously. Now, Bachelor in Paradise is coming back this year, but they're taking out The Bachelorette. And I think this has something to do, I'm guessing, with some kind of production budgetary issue. That would be my guess anyway. I don't know. Again, this is just
Was
me kind of
Jen
like,
Tran's ratings low?
no, her ratings were good actually. But the thing that happened at the end of Jen Tran's season with all the allegations against Stephen Strader, him dumping her almost immediately after the final episode, then that very hard to watch moment in the after the final rose where Jen Tran is on the couch in the hot seat next to Stephen Strader. They've just had their big emotional conversation, and then Jesse Palmer is like, now we're gonna watch your proposal back, Jen, is that okay? And she's like, do
Oh,
I have a choice? She said that
right.
on camera. And I think just from the amount of DMs I've gotten since that moment about I'm never going to watch the franchise again because of what they did to Jen Tran, I think it has had a very bad effect on the franchise overall. You saw it in the Joan Vassos's first season of Golden Bachelorette, which aired right after Jen Tran's season of Bachelorette. It
Mhm.
No one watched it. It was the worst rated Bachelor
Wow.
product of all time. So I don't
I
know.
didn't know that.
Yeah, no one watched that season. It
And
was
she had a couple
a
players in
big
the deck
disappointment.
too, as far as like the,
Yeah,
domestic,
she had some restraining order guys as well, but I would say, it doesn't necessarily mean The Bachelorette is gone forever, but the fact that they're taking out like Bachelor and Bachelorette are the two kind of crown jewels of the Bachelor Nation, uh, you know, uh, kind of like array of shows they do. I think taking one of those out is a bad sign. Like,
yeah.
if it was profitable for them, they wouldn't touch it. They would say, "Yes, do this again, make us more money." There's something happening to the Bachelor franchise where it is not making the money in ad revenue that it used to, and it really only ever boils down to money. That show is costing more
Mhm.
than it's making, I think. Unless, and I've seen this theory floated, that they're going to do with Bachelorette kind of what they did with Bachelor in Paradise, which is take a year off, find a new showrunner, make some big changes. There are rumors that Bachelor in Paradise is not going to be shooting in Mexico this year.
Yes, I've heard that.
Changing some stuff up. Maybe they're doing that with Bachelorette. Maybe they're going to try and get a new showrunner and stuff. I just can't imagine it though, because all the executive producers who were in charge of making that decision to have Jen Tran watch her video back and then, cry on stage and all that, they're all still there. So I don't know how much change is really going on behind the scenes. My suspicion is that this is a very bad sign. This is
I was
the
gonna ask you that. I'm like,
beginning of the end.
that was my question is, do you think this is the beginning of the end?
I do. Yeah. I
Mm.
think it's I don't know what it will dwindle down to. It might just get down to like Bachelor comes on every year and that's it. I'm not exactly sure. There's again, it's just that metric of how much money does it cost to make a season of this show versus how much are we getting in ads. And if that number was big enough, if they were making money off Bachelorette, they would
It would be
continue
a
to make it.
no-brainer. Yeah.
The only other thing that you can kind of take into account that might explain this is because of the controversy that ended Jen Tran's season with multiple players, her top two players, Devin Strader and Marcus Schoberg, both having pretty credible allegations against them of domestic violence, kind of variety, stalking, those kinds of things, restraining order type things. It might be an issue of the network and the studio, which is Warner Brothers and ABC, being a little gun shy to even try and make a Bachelorette season. Like, can they cast 25 guys who are all clean and don't have that kind of thing in their background? That may be a part of this too. I'm not sure. I think this news came as a shock to virtually everyone. But
Everybody.
the real negative effect of it is it's on how the franchise operates, because how it used to operate was you had Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, and then they would sprinkle in some other, Listen to Your Heart or Winter Games or whatever. But those three shows were kind of like the main linchpins of it. And you would have your rookies come into Bachelor, you'd have your rookies come into Bachelorette, and then you would get to see the players that you liked from those two seasons who didn't win a ring or become the next lead on Paradise. It was like their all-star show.
Right.
Now
Like
you're
Ashley I
taking
is a great example of that.
yeah, exactly. That whole era, like BIP season 3 through 6 was just a sweet spot. Everybody off of all those seasons, massive influencer, et cetera, et cetera. But now you're getting to a point where there's no Bachelorette this season. So you're missing half the guys that you can possibly cast in your all-star show in Bachelor in Paradise. And if also you're missing the ability to, like, where are you going to get your next Bachelor from?
Right. Right. And Bachelor in
Last year's
Paradise
Bachelorette?
cast. Right. Do you think that they would have offered it to Rachel Kirkconnell? I'm like, is this because of Rachel Kirkconnell? Do you think they asked her, or is it like you were going back to like the network and numbers
Yeah.
and money? Because I do want to touch on the fact that Mike Fleiss has been tweeting. Did you see his tweets?
Oh no, he's been tweeting about the Bachelorette getting canceled. I saw he did
Look,
one tweet that like last week that said something terrible is about to happen or something.
no, so today he wrote leadership matters ...
Ah,
The Bachelorette hashtag Andy Reid.
huh.
Who's that? Who's Andy Reid?
Is Andy Reid not the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs? Am I crazy? Let me look at this.
Leadership matters. Why would he say hashtag the
Yeah,
Bachelorette? I
Andy
mean,
Reid. I don't
clearly,
know.
and that's what Mike does. Like he likes
Yes,
to
he's trying
stir
to
the
stir
pot.
some shit up, and he's also trying to say like leadership matters. Remember when I was in charge of the Bachelor and Bachelorette,
Right.
everything was fine. Well, we all know how that ended and why that ended. And I don't quite agree with him there, because I do think Charity Lawson's season, which was the first season after his departure, season 20 of Bachelorette, was one of the best ever. I really think it just boils down to money and them being scared to try and cast a pool of 30 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because they also in Joan Vassos' season, like you're saying, in back-to-back Bachelorette seasons, both the regular one and the golden, they had multiple guys in both casts with overt restraining orders against them, if not very credible allegations of similar kind of stuff. So it may have something to do with that. Unfortunately, there's like a room full of about 10 people who know the answers to all these questions, and it ain't us.
Let's call him.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's like shooketh. Like, what? It's not coming back.
course.
And they skipped Bachelor in Paradise last summer. So
Yeah.
maybe they're putting all their money into, I've even heard rumblings that maybe they're like shooting in Canada. I think that can't be possible though, because it's sorry, let's scratch that from the record, but not at that hotel location. The
I've
same
heard they're
one.
not even shooting in Mexico.
Oh, wow, interesting.
So it may be, I have no idea where,
Malibu. I feel like Malibu would make
maybe.
sense,
I
although
mean, they
there's been
should
a
really
lot
do like
going
a,
on in Malibu and the Palisades. So,
yeah, I think they should do a complete overhaul. I mean, we did a couple episodes about this, how to save Bachelor in Paradise, but one of the
yeah.
things we were pretty keen on was that they go to some place like Love Island goes to, I think they shoot in Fiji or something like that. Go somewhere like that, rent a nice house, let them all live there with air conditioning and no crabs and no
Mhm.
snakes falling out of the ceiling, and make it like a real fantasy for the viewer to be like, I wish I was there with them. That looks fun as hell.
Hawaii. Give them an
Yeah,
actual
Hawaii,
boom
great.
boom room. Like that would make it more interesting as well. I loved your
I agree.
episode with Kate Casey and her input on that. So go give it a listen. She's wicked smart. So,
Yeah,
well, we'll
she's great.
see. I do think that like I saw that and I was like, wow, this could be the beginning of the end. And so
Yeah. It's
shocking
never a
news.
good sign. I've received some
Right.
DMs from people that are like, "Maybe this is a good thing," and then, "You're awful." I'm like, "If a network doesn't order your show, it is never good, ever. There's no circumstance in which that is a good thing."
And the verbiage was kind of funny. It was like, well, what I have it right here. So it was like per what was it deadline? Is that it?
Mhm.
I think that that's like a weird platform to release it on. It
I
was like
mean, Deadline is like
exclusive
Variety or any other kind of entertainment trade magazine.
and says insiders have not ruled out its return this year. I mean, The Bachelorette has not been canceled, and while it is unlikely to happen, insiders have not completely ruled out the possibility of the show returning later in 2025. So
Yeah.
it's like I have whiplash. Like, are we, just
Yeah.
hit us with the facts.
And the main fact that was in there, they said, is the next Bachelor show to air will be Bachelor in Paradise. They have not even started shooting that yet. So we're going to get a giant gap after Grant's season of months,
Mhm.
probably, until we get Bachelor in Paradise in the summer. Then I would guess Golden Bachelor season 2 will be right on the heels of that in the kind of end of summer, beginning of
Mhm.
fall.
And I've seen the like, hey, if you know somebody you want to nominate, and also they're calling them senior citizens. Did you catch that on this
Yeah.
latest episode?
Yeah.
I'm like, they do these like kind of like catchy things, and I'm like, are we really like broadcasting that they're senior citizens? Like, these are your golden years. I wouldn't call Leslie Fema a senior citizen.
I think legally though, right? Isn't there some delineation? I don't know what the age is, 60 or
I think you
65,
can
you're a
start
senior citizen?
getting Social Security after 65.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm getting there.
I know, right? Sign me up. So before we jump into, I wanted to talk about Grant Ellis's season and
Mhm.
Matt and Rachel Kirkconnell, that
Sure.
breakup. I would love to get your input, but you have recently launched your game of rosé. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
getting teased about it. I love my rosé. How is that going? Do you like rosé?
I don't
It,
really drink anymore, but I used to, yeah. I used to
oh,
really like
good
it.
for you.
Yeah, get a little cancer in your face and it'll change your dietary habits real quick.
Ugh,
But, I yeah, I mean, we're having fun with it. We partnered with this vineyard called Ring Vineyards. It's a father-son outfit. They're both big listeners of Game of Roses, and, it is available for pre-order now on our Patreon, and I think this coming Tuesday, whatever that would be, February 9, 10, 11, 12, it goes anyone can order it who just, like, listens to our show, so it'll
oh,
be
that is so fun. I got an
yeah.
email. I'm like, okay, I'm there. I still drink rosé.
Yeah, we'll get you some. We'll get you some Game of Rosé for sure.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Well, also, how's the album doing? You have done some creative work and,
Yeah.
Music Man, I'm sure your wheels are spinning already for grand season. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
What was that song you
I
sang?
know it takes two to make it. Girl, I'll never let you go. I took his little riff that he did there and I turned it into a whole EDM pop song. That's on my Instagram. Anyone can watch that. But
I missed it. How did I miss that? But you've done like some amazing Bachelor albums. Are you enjoying it? How's it
yeah,
going? Are we going to keep it
I'm loving
going,
it.
Chad?
Absolutely. I put out a country album called For the Right Reasons. My music guy name or whatever. My music moniker is
Yeah.
Chad K. So if you go on Spotify and look up Chad, the letter K, for the right reasons, you can find the album. It's a country album that's all kind of bachelor coded. That one actually did pretty well. It got like 40,000 streams or something like that. I was very surprised by that.
Chad,
Yeah.
that is major.
I mean, it's not. It equates to about $125 total.
Oh,
But I spent more making it and uploading it and distributing it than I got paid in return. That said, I am also making an album right now for Love Island that is all kind of Love Island style music, and it's Love Island coded, but I'm trying to make music that sounds like it could be in the show. So it's a little more like upbeat EDM, kind of poppy, Sabrina Carpenter-esque type things,
would that, like, if they asked you to like do music for the show, would you be honored? Would you?
Absolutely. 100%.
Hello,
That's my
get
goal in
him.
life.
You're like a genius. Have you ever been told that?
I don't know. Maybe once
I'm
or
not
twice.
just buttering you up. I mean, seriously, like I had you on last time to talk about AI, and now I've gone down the rabbit hole in AI, and my mind is just blown.
Yeah,
The
it's
fact that you
wild.
can create an album, Chad, and like, what if you
And
had
that's
to go on
easy.
tour? It's easy.
You could do it as long as I had a manager who could set up that tour and book all the locations and stuff. It's what I've found to be the best kind of use of AI music creation is you are writing the music yourself, which is melodies and lyrics, and then you can make a little loop and upload that into one of these whatever AI system you want to use. Suno and Udio are the two main ones that I use. But you can make a little loop that has a melody, upload that into the AI, so you're writing the music, and then it will take that melody and put like drums under it and stuff like that, and it will use all your lyrics and sing to the melody you've written. So it basically allows you as a songwriter to have something in your head, make a very rudimentary version of the melody, write all the lyrics, and then just hit enter. And you no longer need a band, you no longer need a singer. All you need is the ability to write music.
You don't need a tour bus.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I mean, essentially, but
Yeah.
that's really, really cool, Chad. I'm proud of you,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I can't wait to see what you do next. And Topo Chico, give him a shout out.
Yeah. I should write a Topo Chico theme song, see if that works.
You should a jingle and
Yeah.
put a high price tag on it. So, all right. Well, I just want to have a couple questions about Grant
Sure.
Ellis's season for you.
Please.
But I want to talk about Matt and Rachel's breakup and get your hot take on it. I know you've talked about it. I went through a public breakup, not breakout. That'd be kind of crazy. But it went viral. I mean, there were so many other breakups and big news things, but it was the way I think that he handled it. And I just wanted to get your take on it. Matt James has since deleted the breakup post with Rachel Kirkconnell. That was so bad. And he booked a one-way ticket to Kenya. I don't know if you saw that on his Instagram.
Yeah. And now he's right now doing Instagram reels, running around with people in Kenya, jogging and stuff. He basically what it looks like from his social media, and I will preface this, and I will preface anything I ever say about any celebrity with this. I don't know these people. I don't know their lives. I don't know what's really happening in their minds or emotions or any of that. All I have is the public record, what is on their Instagrams, the articles that are written about them, etc.
Well said.
And it's all any of us have, but we still make our judgments and try to figure out what's going on, because if you're a fan of Bachelor Nation, obviously that season 25 was one of the most important seasons in the history of the show for a wide variety of reasons. But we all followed that couple that broke up on TV. Then they got back together, but they were kind of persona non grata within the franchise. They themselves distanced from the franchise because they were like, this is detrimental to our relationship. So all that said, they were together for over 4 years, and they were all over in each other's content on Instagram. They still are, even though he deleted the breakup post. He has a bunch of posts still with her. They're kissing each other and
I'm
eating and
surprised
stuff.
that she hasn't archived the ones of him.
I mean, if you look at the numbers of like what happened since the breakup posts and Kirkconnell going on to call her daddy, Kirkconnell has put on about 300,000 new Instagram followers, vaulting into the million club. Matt James has lost about 80,000, slipping under 1 million. So there is something to be said for keeping the victimization edit in public view, I think. So for her, I would leave those pictures up. I don't know why he's leaving them up. It's kind of a flip flop, I think, psychologically. I mean, this again, I don't know him at all. I want to preface that this is just what it seems like. If you start deleting the Rachel Kirkconnell posts, it may not be taken so well by Bachelor Nation. It's like he's erasing her from existence, basically, you know. But yeah, I thought the breakup
True.
post was weird. I think we all did. The Father God opening with that and saying, "I hope Father God can figure this
Unworldly,
out."
or what did he say? Something like,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
remember it exactly,
it
but
was what's
it was
gone
very
now.
strange. Yeah, now he's deleted it. I guess he thought it
But
was
it
strange
off
too.
of, like you said, is that's really interesting, Chad, like his public profile. I remember after Ben and I broke up, after a while, I archived a bunch of pictures. I was just like,
Mhm.
also because you think about like your future and moving on, and obviously I
Yeah.
hit the ground running, but I was like, I don't need all this for public consumption. And also I didn't want to see it. I mean, it's all lives on my phone. But I was reading the comments, by the way, and it's somebody wrote, are you there because the Lord led you there? Sounds like he wants you to basically do be there for through you. And he said, the way things came together for this trip could only have been one person, meaning
What
God.
is God a person?
I guess so. I mean, like they're basically saying like, so, are you going there to, let's say, do the Lord's work? But
Yeah.
I
Have some
mean,
kind of spiritual
I think
awakening.
that's yeah, smart of him. I actually have maneuvered the media after a public
Mhm.
breakups, and I actually thought it was kind of smart of him. There's no negative comments in it
Yeah.
at all. He must have some sort of AI filter on it, or he's just on
Or a
there
person, or he's
constantly.
doing it, yeah, because he's definitely getting some negative comments. I mean, the thing that seemed right to me, again, I don't know him. I don't know what the real reasons behind the breakup are. The only people who know that are him and her. But the fact that he chose to use a picture from night one
Hmm.
when they're meeting, which is not even a picture that I'm guessing is on his phone. My assumption is he
Googled
just
it,
Googled that and like, yep, that's the picture. So
threw it
in
up.
his mind, it's at least conveying through that post that he never saw the relationship as anything more than this reality TV thing that went on too long. In my opinion, again, this is just my
Wow.
opinion. The fact that he dumped her right before she was about to get on a 12-hour plane that would render her cell phone unusable, and he knew that,
Ugh.
also suggests he was waiting until just that moment to do the dumping. It wasn't like a heat of the moment. We got in a big argument. She even said on Call Her Daddy, we started arguing because I couldn't find a good place to eat that night. It's like,
Oh,
that's what broke you up? Absolutely not. I think he was waiting for this. He had it kind of planned and was just looking for some argument that he could escalate to the point of a breakup. That's what it seems like to me. Again, I
I
don't
I
know.
I completely
It's
agree.
just
I
my
watched Call
thoughts.
Her Daddy live, and there was, like, so many people. It was, like, 225,000 people watched it live,
Yeah.
over, like, 1,000,000 downloads, and I think it was interesting because we haven't really seen a lot from Rachel. Like, yeah, we see him
Mhm.
on his social media and vice versa, but to actually, like, hear her talk and, like, to see that side of her, I think was refreshing for everybody. I think she's gonna have a very she could do whatever she wants. Like, I thought that they would offer her The Bachelorette. I don't think she's gonna touch the franchise after the way it ended for her,
Mhm.
but maybe I don't think it'd be Traitors. What would you think? What would you suggest if you were her, manager as far as moving forward? I mean, she's to me like could be like Tyler Cameron status.
Mhm. I would try. I don't know if she can go to Tyler Cameron status because he was so desirable as a bachelor, and it's
And
never
he's
going to
been
happen.
real quiet about his bestie, by the way. It's not like he's come
And
out
yeah,
and
good
defended
move. He
him.
should. He should stay very far away from that. But isn't
Yeah.
I think he's dating someone now. But I
Yeah.
don't know if Rachel Kirkconnell would ever come back to the franchise. I mean, look, in light of The Bachelorette being canceled at least for this year, I don't know anybody who'd want to come back to it. It's very clear.
I agree.
It's
Look at
either
Maria.
undergoing. Yeah, Maria Georgia. She had the Bachelorette crown for 2 or 3 days and then bailed. I think, like, best case scenario, if you're a player thinking about what can I do in this franchise, best case scenario is they are doing a massive overhaul to every one of their main shows, and they're taking a year off, staggering that year off, and they're really trying to make it better. That's the best case scenario. Even in that scenario, you can't trust it if you're a player because you don't know what the new version of this thing is going to be. And you
Right.
definitely don't want to be the guinea pig in season one of like the Bachelorette reboot because who the hell knows what that's going to be. So I think if you're a player of like dating games, Bachelor, that franchise, I would not even consider it a possibility now
Mhm.
because it's just not where you want to be as a reality dating star. You want to go into Love Island, you want to go into Love is Blind, and then matriculate out to Perfect Match if you can. I just don't. Bachelor is like a very dicey place to be right now if you're trying to use it as a launch pad into reality TV as a job.
I concur. I concur, Chad. I really do. And I've lived through it and they didn't
Yeah.
do me any favors either. So you're right. She's probably not going to touch it. Um, well, maybe she'll start a podcast. Hey, oh.
Yeah. She can start a podcast. I mean, she has 1 million plus Instagram followers too. It's like that's going to pay her very well for the next however long she can keep that number.
Exactly. Well, I can't wait to see who's in Paradise. I like
Mm,
Maria. So let's switch gears to Grant Ellis this season. Like I said,
sure.
I haven't been doing the recapping, but his crop of girls are age appropriate. I'm just going to hit it hard. They all seem to have like really great careers. They're
Hmm.
stunning,
Yeah,
stunning. Like I was like, if I was on that season, I'd be like, I'm leaving. Like, you know,
totally.
I mean, the competition and it's such a variety, and
Hmm.
I guess I'll start by saying, how do you think he's doing so far as the lead in the game?
He's made a couple of errors we've seen, and he's been reprimanded a little bit, here and there. Like when Latia was like, something you said to me on night one didn't quite
Oh,
sit
yeah.
right, and he had to walk it back and apologize for saying she was so hot nobody told her no. But I think he's doing good. He's entertaining. He's playing his little songs. He's good on the one-on-one
His
dates.
little song he's playing his
He's good. He's like entertaining. I like him as a
he's
lead.
very smooth.
Yeah.
I
And
like him more than I thought I would because we didn't know
mhm.
anything about him really.
And this is the problem with casting somebody like Grant, and it's also the problem with what happened in that last Bachelorette season. Your top guys, you can't cast as the lead of your next season because they've all got allegations against them. And so they have to go down the line until they find somebody who's relatively clean. And unfortunately, even though Grant played a good rookie season, he didn't make it that far into the game. And so we don't really get a sense of who this guy is. And so it now takes us the first 2 or 3 episodes of his season of Bachelor to even decide if we want him to be the Bachelor or not. It's a bad way to cast your leads.
I
That
agree.
said, I do think he's doing a fantastic job. And I agree with everything you're saying about the players. This crop of players is
Ooh.
the best I've ever seen in terms of pure volume. They're all off the charts.
Age
That
appropriate.
said,
They all have good careers. Like,
yeah.
you can tell like if somebody's an attorney or they have like the chops, like a real
Mhm.
good career. To me, that's like attractive. Like I've been saying all along. Like I think, was it there's a few maybe is there a social media influencer? I don't have my stats here.
Bailey
Yeah,
is,
that's who I'm thinking
and
of.
she came out of the limo making him do the selfies with her and all
Oh,
that, which I thought was great.
yeah. Well,
But
and have you coached anybody in this season? Blink
I cannot
twice?
say. I cannot say, but I'll tell you this.
Ah,
In the beginning when I was coaching players for this season, um, there were some of the players didn't get in that had like insane pedigrees and were perfect
no
for the
way.
show. And I was just like, Jesus, if they didn't make it in, who's getting into this season? And now we
Wow.
see, and I'm like, okay, I kind of get
You
it.
get it.
Yeah, they have some very heavy hitters, but unfortunately, these heavy hitters are not going to have any guys to date in Paradise because there's no Bachelorette season this year. What
Right.
guys are going to be in Paradise?
Oh gosh, I'm thinking about Jen Tran's guys.
You've got Jonathan, you've got
Nobody stands
Hakeem.
out.
Well, we know Jonathan and Hakeem were invited on the after or the Men Tell All of that season.
Mhm.
Assuming that they are not dating anybody and still want to do it, they'll be there. Then what? Are we going to go back in time? Are you going to get Chris Bukowski to come back? Like I don't.
Break up with Anna Redmond. He can
Yeah.
just roll down the stairs in a wheelchair. He's
Yeah,
like, "I'm
exactly.
here."
Yeah, this is my 12th season. I just don't. I don't know. They're these decisions are made on like an executive level. They're made by
Right.
suits at ABC, basically. Again, just looking at the numbers and looking at their schedule and what are we doing with the network. We are starting to reach a moment in network television history where, I mean, obviously the writing has been on the wall for a long time, but now it's really getting down to brass tacks in terms of network television viewership just dying.
Oh,
Every
yep.
year,
You've
the
talked about that.
ratings lose about 10 to 15%. And at a certain point, you're going to get down to like a number one show on network TV is going to be watched by like 100,000 people. And can you sell ads in that to
Mm,
anyone when those same brands could be like, well, wait a minute though, I can just pay an influencer who has 5
yeah.
million viewers and get way more value for my money. So that could have something to do with it, the death of network
So
TV. But
wild, wild, wild west, and a lot of
yeah,
movement. I've heard that they are trying to make major changes to Paradise, but also that's a little bit, like you were saying, they're touching on like a little bit nerve-wracking for the people going down there because
yeah,
you're trying to make these big changes. And, hey, if I was single and back in the day, they asked me to go down to Paradise, but I just
mhm,
didn't trust them to not do it to me again.
yeah,
And I think it was the first or second season. I can't remember, but I really didn't wanna do it because I was just wanted to get my life back to normal. But now that I'm older, wiser, I'm like, "Yes, 100%, like, you should have gone down there."
yeah, absolutely. Anyone who has the
I'm not trying to,
opportunity.
like, deter people from going down there.
Yeah, I don't, any player who's getting the call right now, and the players are getting the calls right now, but from producers being like, "Are you single? Would you be open to doing this?" The answer is always yes. Any
Right.
time you have an opportunity to be on reality television, no matter what the circumstance, you take that opportunity. Because if you play it right, even if it's a some competition that has like a winnable prize, like Bachelor winning the
Mhm.
ring or becoming the Bachelorette or Bachelor, even if that doesn't happen, as long as you establish yourself as the most entertaining person from that season, a la Maria Georges, you become a superstar. That's what reality TV is now. It doesn't really have to do with like winning the prize in the game. It has to do with being the most entertaining person in your season. Even if you get cut out early, it really
Just
doesn't
don't be
matter.
boring.
Yeah.
Well, a la Braden Bowers, a la
Yeah.
Christina Mandrell, who
Yeah.
was supposed to be in Paradise, but they kind of, you talk about once a season's over and letting all the contestants, like the fan favorites, go on
Mhm.
Grocery Store Joe's podcast and Ben and Ashley. I love Ben and Ashley, but they kind of people that have this villain edit, they kind of really put them in a vice. And Christina was meant to be down there. I mean,
There were a lot
they
of people meant to be down there that season,
but
but I
look what
think for
happened. I mean, Christina and
exactly. It
Braden
all
just,
worked out
like,
how it was
tied the
supposed to.
knot.
Yeah.
Exactly, but I feel like that was such a lost opportunity, and for why, I mean, if the ultimate goal is for people to match up and link up and find love, I can't understand, but the DMs
Yeah.
gotta be popping right now, ladies. Be liking those photos, be sliding into the DMs. That was going on during my time. Chris Bukowski,
Mhm.
he reached out to me and a couple other guys that were on that season.
Yeah.
It was like Brooks Forrester.
Uh-huh.
He flew out to meet me in LA because he was like, "I don't know why I thought you were gonna be there, but I wanna meet you beforehand." So
Yeah.
that that goes back into, the
I
what was like
for sure.
2000, like 13 or something,
For sure.
14.
If you are a player right now thinking about going on to Paradise, you have to know this. You gotta go in with a team. You have if you're
Yes,
a woman, you have to have a guy to be your teammate. If you're a guy, you need a woman. Because there will be some
yeah,
players who don't have this. There will be some players who go in kinda clean and they're like, "Let's see what happens." But I would say
totally.
probably half of the player pool is not going in clean. They have arrangements with people. They have,
Mhm.
strategies. I I will simply say that.
Well, hey, it's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll look forward to that, and we'll see what happens with The Bachelorette. I also just wanna touch on the fact that it's not coming back this summer. The fan base is like 90, let's just I don't I used to be 95% women, and I think
Mhm.
women like to watch the show, especially older women, to like see these hot young men and
Sure.
like the struggle that is a single woman out there dating. It's really hard. There's apps and this and that.
Mhm.
And I, not to take away that it's The Bachelor is like the shiny thing. Like Ben was playing This Year's Love, you know, in a wine field or whatever, David Gray song. Like people had a heart in it because he got down on one knee and proposed and then got lifted up by the elbow and got sent out off and on a tugboat
Yeah.
in Thailand. So like people had a horse in the race with Grant. We're like, okay, well, wow, he's really proven himself to us. But I think the fan base likes to see the woman take
Always.
the lead, but also the women like to see these hot guys,
Sure.
that come in. And I don't know. I'm a little disappointed because that's personally one of my favorites to see a
Yeah.
woman operating. It's one thing for a guy to date 25 women. Let's be honest. Sorry, don't shame me, but uh, it's another to see a woman operating,
Of
dating,
course.
like dating 25 men.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been my understanding, like, the Bachelor audience is predominantly women, and I think
Yes,
it's
that's my
in
point.
The Bachelor, the audience is watching to see these women play that game. Which one of these
Right.
women can navigate this crazy minefield and deflect all of the attackers and make friends if she has to and whatever, to ultimately wind up either getting engaged or the true prize is becoming the next Bachelorette. And that's the real fantasy fulfilled.
Yes.
Like Bachelor and Bachelorette are one show together. You are watching a
Mhm.
woman come through as a rookie in the whatever the season of Bachelor is, and then you're seeing the second half of that show is she won the prize and she now gets
Right.
to be the princess dating all these guys and the one in control. That was even Jen's
Yes.
slogan. She's in control now. And so you're missing now the back half of your narrative. The end of the
Right.
story will not be told this year. And I think that's
Mhm.
it's massively detrimental to the fan base,
Absolutely.
because if you can, it would be like if you're watching, Game of Thrones, let's say,
Mm.
and you get all the way up to like the last episode. There's one more episode. I mean, say what you will about how Game of Thrones
Oh,
ended,
I
but
love Game of
uh,
Thrones.
and then they just
I
say
can say
like,
a
you know
lot.
what? We're just kidding. There is no final episode. It just ends like that. Huh? It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I think if anything, they should have canceled Golden Bachelor season 2 or maybe Paradise
Absolutely.
again, because you just
Yeah.
have to have like those two shows just go together. They
The
are the
bread and
same show.
butter. They're like the bread and butter of the
Yeah.
and maybe they are trying to do too much. I don't know. Well, we'll see, but hopefully they're listening. It sounds like it's not too late. It sounds like they left the door cracked open, and I
They'll
have
probably
to
do it
think
next
that,
year, I
like,
think, but
Daisy's off having, like she's, like, got a billionaire boyfriend, and then Maria's like, we'll see. I think Maria would have been incredible, but I
yeah.
think that it was too much. Her and I DM and whatnot, and I was messaging her leading up to her potentially being it, and she's like, "I just don't think I'm built for this."
Yeah.
I think it was really tough for her, all the opinions, and she
Of
seems like
course.
she's doing fine. I would love
Yeah.
to see her on Traitors. I'd love to go on Traitors, but we're gonna save that for
We
another
gotta
time.
get you on Traitors. God, we gotta
Oh
get you on Traitors.
my god, how about Wells shit in the bed? I mean, I can't believe he did not last longer.
Well, somebody predicted that he would be the first person eliminated. That predictor was me.
Was
So,
it?
oh yeah.
I missed that episode.
I thought there would
What
be no way he would survive a game like Traitors because
can
he
you
doesn't
tell
have
me,
the
like, the
tools.
qualities, the tools?
The tools are, you have to, it depends on what you are. If you're faithful or traitor, being a traitor is the easiest version of the game to play, because the only thing you have to do as a traitor is lie to everybody. I'm not a traitor.
Mhm.
As long as you can convince them or even have that be slightly believable, you might be able to put their suspicion somewhere else and they'll vote off a faithful at the round table. That's all you have to do as a traitor. If you're a faithful, your job is infinitely more complex. You have to identify who the traitors are based, at least in the beginning of the game, on virtually no evidence. Just like, oh, I don't know, he was wearing his jacket a little weird or
Tom
whatever.
Sandoval, like, taking
Yeah.
his mask off, like, I'm like,
Tom
dude,
Sandoval's so good this
like,
season.
oh, he's so
God, he's
good.
funny.
He's like, he's got redeemable qualities, like, in his little mouth
Yeah, he's
and
just kind of
eating.
like a dunce, just a doofus walking. What's going on, guys? But you have to identify the traitors. You have to then also be correct in that identification, and you have to lie to the traitors to make them think you don't know who they are. So you've got to
Yes.
say, I know this guy's a traitor, and I'm going to befriend him and lie to him to make him think
Mhm.
I don't think he's a traitor. Then you also have to discern which of the other faithful can handle this information without leaking it. And
Mm.
because you need to build a team basically who is going to be loyal to you in whatever way you want to vote or help you, find more information or whatever. So you're really juggling all these balls as a faithful if you want to survive to the very end. And it usually requires somebody like a Pilot Pete, what he did
Mhm.
in season 2, to almost do like a self-sacrifice, to take out a big traitor, to go balls to the wall. I'm taking you out at the round table. That works. And then that person will usually either get turned into a traitor or they will get murdered by traitors that night. But it allows the other faithful to kind of like see the lay of the land a little bit better and start doing the math of like, how do we kick this person off, then this person off, then this
Mhm.
person off? Because that game is like, at face value, it may seem like the faithful's only job is to like get a traitor every time. But guess
No,
what? There's 10 to 12 episodes every season. The
it
producers
ain't
will
it.
put more traitors in if you get them all. It can't end in 3 episodes. So there's no circumstance where that will actually happen.
Hmm. Well, Parvati Shallow, I just had her on. I did a guest spot for Rogue Energy, Raquel Levis's
Mm-hmm.
podcast for iHeart, and I had an interview with her. She was on season 2,
Yeah,
and she's good
she's
friends
great.
with Boston Rob. Oh, she's like iconic, one survivor, and it was interesting to get her take because I said, "What did you think of Pilot Pete?" She's like, "Oh, he was so annoying. He was such a traitor hunter."
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
she's like, "Lighten up, like, this is Traitors," like, but I haven't watched that season, so I can't wait to
Oh,
to
wow.
go
That
back and
season's
watch.
great. Yeah.
But, like, I think that it's so interesting to see the dynamics of, like, Survivor players,
Mm-hmm.
Bachelorette players. Gabby Wendy's surprisingly surprising me.
Me
But
too.
anyway, before I get to my rapid fire,
Okay. Sure.
um, I'm not gonna do a full recap here. You talked about Grant Ellis. I just wanna I've been getting asked the most about, and I'm gonna say gameplay, but, like, Zoe and
Mm-hmm.
stealing Grant on episode 2,
Yeah.
and I
The
just
triple
wanted to start
steal.
the triple steal, and everyone's, like, up in arms about it, and I think the group date one, everyone's like, "Respect," and this and that, but
Mm-hmm.
everyone's asking me what I think about her, and I'm like, "I personally kinda love it." She's using the most of her time, but did
Yeah.
you think how do you feel? It sounds like there's a rivalry. By the way, I would not wanna piss off the boxer from New Jersey.
Exactly, Allie Joe. Yeah,
She's
she's dangerous, literally. Uh,
like, she could literally like, she's like, "I'm gonna put my gloves on." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." But I
yeah.
did think that there was a moment in the episode that I was, like, really impressed by Zoe when she was calling her out. Grant's around the corner listening
Mhm.
because they
Yeah,
bring him out
of
shortly.
course.
Like, she didn't say a thing. And I
Yeah.
thought that that was a moment where I was like, "She knows what she's doing." And
Mhm.
the other girl's making herself look bad because she rattled her cage so badly. And that is what I think good gameplay is.
Yeah, she's a strong player for sure. A lot of people, fans and apparently players. I don't think a lot of these players are actually mad at her. I think they are playing their part. I think all of these
Mm,
players
makes sense.
understand that when you do a steal, that's not up to you. The producers
It's
tell you
not.
when to go in and how many times you're going to go in. You can tell the producers no if you don't want to do it, but like
Mm, so you're
that's
not gonna
that's
get time.
dangerous too. Yeah, exactly. They can punish you for that. So I don't think any of these players really hold Zoe accountable for those things. I think
Mm.
they're just playing the part of,
Yeah, they
well, now
are.
I have to be mad because you've done something that in the context of the game can be perceived as villainous. Therefore, I will show you that I'm the victim of your villainy, and maybe I'll get that edit. I think that math is happening for most of them. There might be a couple players who really are genuinely mad and think this is all real, but I don't think that's the majority by any stretch of the imagination. These players on this season are all extremely high level professional players. They get what's going on and they're playing characters. And I think a lot of
Yeah,
it has to do with two things primarily: Maria Georges and Love Island USA season 6. I think all of these players saw what Maria Georges did in her season. They all watched Love Island season 6 because there was no Bachelor in Paradise,
right.
and they are playing those roles. They're trying to be Kaylor. They're trying to be Leah Kateb. They're trying to be Maria Georges. And they realize that like you can kind of be a villain. And if you spin it right, that the old era of villain means everyone hates you and you get no Instagram numbers, that's gone now. We're back in an era where people love their villains again. And I think you're seeing it with Carolina.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing it with
Love
uh,
Carolina. She's
Zoe.
spicy.
Yeah, she's great. They're both great. They'd both be great bachelorettes. Unfortunately,
Yes.
there's no bachelorette this year.
And, and the unfortunate thing for them is they're gonna get scooped up. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. They're gonna connect with another somebody from a past season, a
Mhm.
NFL football, who knows?
Yeah.
But I don't think these people are gonna be waiting around, and you touched on Jen Tran's, what's it, Jonathan. I
Mhm.
just was at an event with him recently, and he came with Susie Evans, and the guy's like I'm like, "There's no way this guy is gonna wait around for paradise." I mean, he was so nice, so lovely, but I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing his thing. These guys come off the show. I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, in Bachelor,
that's
unfortunately,
a
like you
long time to
do,
wait.
It is, but you have to do it if you want a we just recorded our Digging Deeper, and we had a clip from I think it was Jason Tartick's Trading Secrets, where he was talking to Greg Grippo and Justin Glaze,
Oh,
and
I
he
wanted to
said
listen to that. Was there any,
it, it's very good.
standout points? Like, did he talk about Victoria Fuller at all?
Uh,
Because I feel like Jason is, like,
not in any.
really good at, like
Yeah, they talked more about like how much money they're making per TikTok post and that kind of thing.
and
But
they're, like yeah, they're doing a lot of cutesy, like, bestie videos.
yeah, they're good. They're smart for doing it. But Tardik said at one point that he was asking Tyler Cameron about what does the show do to your life? What does going to the Bachelor franchise do to your life? And
Mhm.
Tyler Cameron said it basically puts it on pause for 10 years. It's like a
Wow.
10-year delay in if
Yeah.
you would be married with kids and living in this place and whatever. When you go into the Bachelor, it opens up all these other doors that you're like, well, I got to try this. I got to do this. This opportunity exists. I got to try and get my whatever. He had like a house renovation show on Amazon, and all that. And I think that's true for high level players, but it's, viewing it as putting your life in quotes on pause for 10 years, I think is wrong. It's actually starting your life as a reality star, which requires
Mm,
you to come into the reality TV universe through some franchise at this
yeah,
point. Bachelor used to be one of the big ones. I do feel like it's not as important anymore,
I
especially
agree.
with Bachelorette going away. But yeah, I don't
It's
know.
also like
We'll
a
see what
social
happens.
media. I mean, people are going viral left and right.
Yeah.
Just, but in the reality TV space, I couldn't agree more. And I think it's also learning how to navigate it and
Hmm.
using it to your advantage because we have seen people try and to find, I mean, hell, I mean, even look at Nick Viall, who finally found his footing. But I mean, he was like, and he'll even say it. I've heard him talk about it. Like he was doing those painting things for a while. Like he has talked about like what is the guy's name?
Yeah.
And he was like shirtless, like painting, like he couldn't find
Yeah.
like his thing. And I'm not going to name names, but there are people out there doing some kind of embarrassing, cringy things, still trying to like that maybe miss
Sure.
the boat a little bit. And
Hmm.
do you know what I'm talking about?
Not specifically, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe. There's definitely people doing cringe constantly
Cringe.
across the entire internet. But yeah, there's a lot of Bachelor players who get caught up in the cringe. But yeah, Vial's done well for himself. He's got the biggest podcast of any Bachelor player. He's turned it into kind of a little empire. He
Yeah.
has huge pop culture celebrities that he's interviewing all the time. And I know he keeps teasing the idea that he's going to go back to school and become a licensed therapist. I don't think that will ever happen, but
Oh.
he's
It's
kind of the
funny, when I
blueprint.
met him, I was dating a therapist, or a
Mm,
psychologist, and he said to me I think he didn't know if I had a boyfriend. He came over to my place in Santa Monica, a little quick story,
mhm.
and I was, like, really struggling with this guy. I mean, we were together on and off for about 1.5 years, and I probably broke up with him ten times. Like, so like, just
Sure.
to paint the scene, and he said to me, "Courtney, like, psychologists, they're usually the crazy ones and they learn or they go into it because they're trying to fix themselves." So,
Well, okay. Some insight into the great one there. Wow.
I know. And he left that day and I never saw him again. But
Hmm.
I'm going to end with a little rapid fire, Chad.
Okay.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Welcome to rapid fire.
Thank you for
Also,
having me.
oh, cat chat. I miss cat chat. Skabooli. I need it before we get there. I just
Yeah.
need a little quick. I'm a
Sure.
cat lover. But
Uh-huh.
tell me what's the latest and greatest with Skabooli, and how did he get that
Where is he
name?
right
What
now?
is a Skabooli?
His name used to be Mike, and then at some
Oh,
point
what?
he psychically put his name in my head, Skaboolian, and it just fit. And so
Oh,
now that's what we call him. I don't know where he is now. He's usually bothering me when I'm working in this very
well,
chair.
before
But
we started recording, you're like, "Hang on, I gotta close the door." You looked
yeah,
a little scared, like he might jump out
he
from
opened the
behind
door.
you.
No, every window that we have in this place has now been turned into a catio. So he has free reign to go out on his little enmeshed enclosures and stuff.
A
But
catio.
no, he's doing good. He's fat and sassy and loving life. I brush him for probably about an hour and a half total per day. Uh,
Is he a long-haired cat?
no, he just likes being brushed. He has a
What
little
color is he
rug that he
again? Is he
likes to go
black?
on. What's that?
Black and white? What color is he?
Yeah,
Give
he's
us a
black and white.
visual.
Black and white. But no, he's doing great. We'll see. We'll see what happens
Okay,
this year.
cat daddy. All right. Rapid fire question
Okay.
number 1. In this latest episode of the Bachelor. Jesse agrees with a lady that he loves
Mhm.
manifesting. Do
Yeah.
you believe or practice manifesting?
I mean, I don't know exactly what manifestation is in this context, but I will say this. I'm becoming more and more certain personally that physical reality as we know it is really just a reflection of an underlying kind of reality based on consciousness. And I think that human consciousness is fundamental and physical reality is emergent from it, not the other way around. So,
Interesting.
yeah, I think consciousness, generally speaking, the kind of collective consciousness, I think creates reality. And so, therefore, manifestation or however you want to view it, yeah, I think we have the ability to change physical reality with consciousness.
Interesting. So that sounds like a roundabout yes.
I think so. I think it is. Sorry. This is supposed to be
Okay.
rapid fire. I'm botching
Sorry.
it
No,
immediately.
no, it's not rapid. No, I think it's really interesting and
Okay.
I'm very intrigued by you. You're very mysterious. Um, I'm gonna hit you with a
If you
softball.
say so.
Who's your all-time favorite artist, music, movies, visual
Mm.
arts, anything? All time. I'm
Man,
gonna
that's a tough one. Rolling them all into one, that is tough. I would probably say the most influential writer for me ever was an old sci-fi writer named Isaac Asimov. I've read all of his books probably 20 times a piece. Musical artist, my favorite musical artist of all time is probably gonna be The
Mhm.
Fix, an old 80s band. I don't know if you know them.
I'm gonna listen to him right now. I don't
Reach
know
the
them.
Beach was their best album. Red Skies at Night was probably one of their biggest songs, or Saved by Zero. It's an old 80s band. Visual artist, God, that's a tough one. Maybe H.R. Giger. I like his stuff a lot. I don't know.
I
It's
don't
it's
know
too
who
hard
that
for me to.
is.
He was like an airbrush artist who designed the
Oh,
alien in the series Aliens.
yeah.
Yeah, he did some really cool stuff. Mobius, I like his stuff a lot. I don't know. It's hard for me to say one artist that I like the most. I'm sorry. I don't think I can answer this question.
What about Dust in the Wind? All we are,
Oh
I like
yeah,
to always ask people like their favorite songs.
that's my
That's
favorite
one of
song.
that's your favorite song.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this category. All right. You can pass on this one if you want.
Okay.
Celebrity crush.
God, have I ever even had one? Um, when I was a little kid, it was Christy Brinkley because she was in Billy Joel's music video for Uptown Girl, and I just remember thinking she was very pretty. Yeah, I don't know that I have one now. I watched this interesting video the other day on YouTube that was talking about the nature of celebrity and how it's been degraded basically since 2020. And it started, or this video at least, attributed that degradation to the Gal Gadot video that she came out with during COVID, where it was her and all the celebrities singing Imagine. And that,
Uh-huh.
like, that
I remember
moment was
that.
this kind of turning point, at least per this person in the video talking, that we all were just like, fuck celebrities, they're pieces of shit. And so the kind of mystique of who's your celebrity crush and all that just kind of evaporated. And I tend to agree with that, honestly. Yeah, I don't know if I have one currently. I
Well,
don't
it's
think I do.
probably the right answer is your girlfriend.
Yeah. Not a
Your
celebrity, but
partner.
I do have a pretty big crush on her, if you can still call it that.
Mm, your cat mommy. All right. What's one thing you're 100% sure you'll never do?
100% sure I'll never do. I mean, probably play basketball in the NBA, which is the thing I would want to do the most if I could. If I could snap my fingers, I'd be playing for the Lakers right now with LeBron and Luca.
Oh, oh my gosh, I would be buying the front row seat. I'm so sad. We might be trading Kevin Durant from the Suns, but
Yeah.
this is not about me. Okay. Okay. I think I might know the answer to this one, but free trip to outer space. Are you in or are you out?
Way in. As deep as
Wow.
I can go. Send me into a black hole. Let's do it.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was one of my other questions is if you could go into a black hole
Yep.
and not return, would you?
100%. 100%. There was an
What
old
about
movie
who's
when
gonna
I was a
brush
kid.
Skabulian?
What's that?
Who's gonna brush Skabulian?
I don't know. Maybe if I come out the other side of the black hole, I'll have some kind of astral powers and I can return to this realm. But there was a movie when I was a kid called Black Hole or The Black Hole. It was a Disney movie. And that it's still, there are images from it that are just like burned into my brain. And the basic premise of it was there was the space station on the edge of a black hole, and it was starting to get sucked into the black hole. And the guy who ran the space station is kind of like crazy and is like, we're going into the black hole. And everybody else is like, no, we shouldn't do that. And that was kind of the premise of the movie. But yeah, I would go into a black hole.
I would not. Just had to
100%.
throw that in
All right.
there.
To each their own.
What is something that you thought would happen by now but hasn't?
I would say better like brain computer interfaces. I thought at this point we'd all have wearable technology, just like a little gem that we put on our temple and we can communicate telepathically and stuff, or at least have the internet in our brains. I thought that would have happened by now, but I think it's probably still 20 years away.
Wow, that scares me. That's like I'm orbiting thinking about that. Wow. Uh, what is something that you let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm looking at my notes. What's your proudest moment? Switching gears.
Proudest moment. You know what it probably was? I bet it was this. My co-host and I on Game of Roses are both TV writers and have been for many years out here in Los Angeles, California. The first time I got a show ordered to series was this old show on NBC called Bad Judge, and the day that happened was kind of like a surreal thing. There were some celebrities involved in that production, and it was me and these actresses sitting in a little room at this production company, getting the call from the NBC executive saying, we're ordering your show to series, and then going
Wow.
out with them for a drink afterward, and being on top of this parking lot that looked straight out into the Hollywood sign. And it was just like one of those, LA moments where you're like, wow, I sold a TV show. This is Hollywood. It
Oh,
was cool. That's probably it, I would
we were
think.
having like an aha moment when you could really like absorb it and you felt it.
Yeah, it was just like, you come out to LA to try and be a writer, director, actor, whatever the case may be, and you spend X amount of years doing that. And it just feels like you're beating your head against a brick wall, and you get little moments of momentum or like forward progress here or there. But there are these kind of bigger end goals, like getting a show on TV is one, getting a movie made is one. And, that was the first time that I had a show made. I had a movie made prior to that, but that was the first time I got a show ordered to series that I created. And it was pretty cool.
Wow. Chad, that's inspiring. No, I've had moments like that, and
Sure.
that's really inspiring. Okay, last two. What's
All
your
right.
favorite emoji? We're gonna end with Topo Chico.
Yeah, my favorite emoji is Topo Chico have an emoji. I don't know. The one I use the most is the heart. I mean, I think that's
Which
probably true
color? I
of
mean,
all of
now
us.
there's a million colors, or
I
just
don't even
liking a
know. Probably the
comment.
red one, I guess. Yeah, just the double tap,
And some people
that,
are like, "Oh, I don't even use emojis." When I've asked people, they're like, "I don't
yeah.
use emojis." I'm like, That's cool. I get it." My husband, when I first started dating him, he sent me the old school, and I thought that was cute, the old school smile.
Oh, the ASCII
The
one where
some
it's made with like semicolons and stuff. Yeah, nice. No, I use the heart. I use the thumbs up, and I send a lot of gifts. I have to say,
Are you
I
a
use
gift
those.
guy?
Oh yeah,
Do you
I
have a
think it's really
favorite
fun.
GIF?
I usually try to find the most obscure one that I can that has some tangential reference to whatever the conversation is in the
Right.
text thread. Just something that will both confuse and entertain. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh gosh, I have some good like bathroom ones or like cat ones I gotta send you. Uh,
I'm ready.
and lastly, do you have an alter ego?
You know what? I did have an alter ego in
Did?
college. Yeah. His name was Johnny Pupa. And this is when I went to USC. I found this fun. I mean, this may give you some glimpse into the nature of my mind, but this is something that I would do for fun. I would go into lecture classes that had hundreds of people so that I could kind of like fit in the shuffle. These are classes I did not have. I was not a student in these classes. But around finals, and again, this is back in the 90s, so not everybody had like laptop computers and stuff. Many of the finals in these classes would be essay finals that you would have to write in little books called blue books. And so you would go up to the front of the class, you would pick up an empty blue book, which was just like a little notebook basically, and they would ask some question and you would have to write your essay. I would go into classes that I was not enrolled in and take their essay final exams and just write in like short stories, weird shit, whatever came to mind. And then I would try to come back the next week and pick up my graded blue book. And I would always use the name Johnny Pupa as that guy when I would write these things.
You could write a whole screenplay on that. That's
I
that's
don't know about that.
but
But
not
yeah.
like now, you don't have anything like if you're like, "Oh, like I've gotta record," or just you
No,
don't
I
do you
mean,
have like a hype up jam that you're like, "I gotta
no,
really."
I mean, Bachelor Clues is kind of my alter ego now, I guess, which is
Yeah.
my little meme account on Instagram for all my Bachelor stuff.
Oh, well, everybody go follow Bachelor Clues and Game of Roses, and I gotta get Lizzie on, I know you're gonna be in Arizona soon.
Yeah.
Chad's co-host on Game of Roses, who I got to meet recently in Arizona. I was like, I feel a little starstruck. And we've talked constantly, but she's so lovely. I love meeting her and
Yeah,
her
you're
fiance. So
great.
I hope to see you in Arizona.
I'll be there at that wedding for
Are you gonna
sure.
wear your shit kickers? Are you gonna dress up
Probably
like a
not.
cowboy?
No, I think
Okay.
I'll just be a standard suit. I'm gonna try to, subdue myself.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Chad, for joining After Reality and for everything that you've done to help me get this thing off the ground.
My
And I
pleasure.
would love to have you back. I did want to ask you if lastly, but wait, there's more. Do
All
you
right.
think Grant is going to go the distance with his ring winner?
Uh, that's hard to say. I know they're trying to tease us with what's gonna
Hmm.
happen in the end of the season is
Yes.
he can't make a decision between his final 2. I don't know if that's real or not. I would imagine he will be with his ring winner for at least 6 months, then they might break up. That's statistically what is most likely.
I concur. I hope, and right now, I mean, this is a long stretch for them to be doing happy couples before the finale. So,
Yeah.
and I've been like watching the preview for this season. It looks good. Like I'm hooked.
Yeah,
Is it the first thing I
absolutely.
I go to? Like I'm kind of going more towards Traitors and these other shows, but
Mhm.
I think Grant has done a good job of at least sucking me in and the girls.
Totally. The rivalries that they're brewing between Zoe and everybody, Carolina and everybody, those are gonna come to a head. I think we're gonna get a really good 2-on-1 this season. I don't know who's gonna be on it, but I think that's coming in the next
Ah,
probably 2 episodes. That's gonna
Ashley
be
I
great.
and Chelsea Poe. Let's get her.
I'll forget
We
that.
need something like
God, I'll never
that.
forget that. I agree. Or even if you remember Taylor Nolan and Corinna Olympios on season 21,
Oh,
Big Bayou, where they had their 2-on-1 in the Louisiana Bayou, and they made
yes.
Taylor Nolan go, in quotes, discover some voodoo lady out in the middle of nowhere who put a spell on Nick Bayou. Oh, God, those are the days.
This this is the beloved game, Chad. Let's
I
see if
know.
they can get this train back on the track. All right, guys. Chad, where can everybody follow along? And I kind of already touted it, but when do
Yeah.
your episodes come out this week? Because you guys are doing the Lord's work,
Yeah,
Matt
we
James.
do our recaps come out the Tuesday morning after Bachelor airs on Monday night, and then we have a Friday episode that kind of wraps up all the stuff that happened in Bachelor Nation and across a bunch of different reality TV shows, kind of like a weekend news show, basically.
That's all I have in me right now is a wrap up. So thanks
Yeah.
for joining us on this roller coaster. It was a bumpy ride, but we landed it. So until next time, I'm your host, Courtney Robertson, and this has been After Reality.